The day of reckoning is near. Yuji is him. Everyone always calling Yuji a fraud MC, using his friends as stepping stones and getting unrealistic power-ups. Well, today it's all changed. The allegations will no longer work on his thick ass. Everything is explained, and to be honest, it's almost a certainty now. Yuji Itadori will become the strongest sorcerer in the history of Jujutsu Kaisen. Of course, if you are new around here and end up enjoying the narrative story type content that I do make, then subscribe, as it really helps out with pushing my content to a bunch of new amazing people. Either way, sit back and relax as we get into the current beatdown between history's strongest sorcerer and an awakened Yuji Itadori. Kicking this instantly back off like it's freaking time. Choso, like a demon of darkness, appears behind Sukuna and shoots a piercing blood that the king just manages to evade. Picking up, like dude's actually head glitching here, Sukuna throws 2 slashes that force Choso back, but bro still manages to block them. Raining down from the glass ceiling, Yuji Itadori lands a floor-shattering 2-handed hammer fist that forces Sukuna down to his knees. As Sukuna laughs, seeing Yuji again, we learn that the world-severing dismantle must be activated with the same hand signs used for Malevolent Shrine, called Enmiten. Due to Sukuna only having the one free hand before his transformation, he was forced to impose a binding vow to the activation conditions for all preceding uses of the slash in order to originally cut Gojo. In the present now, and on top of this Enmiten hand signs and chants being needed, the accuracy of the technique has to be directed with his hand. In a violent flash, the 2 left arms of Sukuna are suddenly sliced off. Stunned because he didn't actually expect her to return, and even after eating a black flash, she, Maki, still lives and has returned to the fight. Boosting in, Yuji knows his twin can't complete hand signs with only one, and his reverse curse technique isn't working at all. He thinks maybe, since it's all coming together and everyone's hard work is finally paying off, they can win. However, at that moment, Sukuna, like pro is actually feeling himself, lands a second black flash on the row. For those confused as to why this is devastating for everyone, well, after Gojo landed his second black flash, he managed to restore his lost cursed energy. This here is now the exact same case with the King of Curses. Skipping away though to another freaking Gojo cameo, like the screen time he's getting right now is imposterous. Either way, he's now seen teaching the youngins about why he can't just unleash a black flash whenever he wants. Like, he's got the 6 eyes, so surely he could. According to the textbooks though, a black flash is a distortion of space between the fist and cursed energy that strikes real damn quick, like we've all been over the explanation before. Gojo though finds that the definition given was too vague, and the technique itself is influenced by a number of factors. For one, if he loaded up his fist with cursed energy and threw a punch, 3 outcomes could occur. 1. Their fist is strengthened. 2. The cursed energy crashes into his opponent. Or the third, a mix of the previous 2. Timing isn't the only determining factor. It is a toss-up depending on the blend of the environment, the user's physical condition, the opponent's cursed energy, and even humidity and air temperature. To put it simply, there is no correct answer to unleashing a black flash. For Gojo and pretty much anyone else, it comes down to complete luck of the draw. This is why a grade 1 like the GOAT Nanami had a higher consecutive black flash record than Gojo. That being said though, the power difference between them is still large. Gojo's output is higher and he takes opponents out quickly, so it makes landing consecutive black flashes almost impossible for him. Back in Shinjuku now, all of the sorcerers begin analysing the current situation. Including the black flash landed on Maki, Sukuna has landed 2 so far. They all also assume he might have regained his curse energy output like Gojo and is about to pick the momentum back up once more. Simultaneously, everyone then launches a combined attack. Choso kicks up a railing, allowing Yuji to grab a hold of it and slam it into the wall behind Sukuna, trapping him there. Immediately leaping above him, Choso fires a point-blank supernova that the king somehow manages to avoid. Boosting through the stores next to him, Maki, who was tracking him, bursts through the glass entrance and attempted to stab the demon through the chest once more. Catching her blade, the two exchange a flurry of quick blows, stunning Choso with how they're using the air as footing in itself. Smiling and warping up his curse energy, Sukuna hits Maki with his 3rd black flash, sending her crashing back through a building severely injured. Flicking his hand forth, Sukuna turns his attention towards Choso, who unleashes a volley of supernova attacks. Suddenly, a slash cuts through the smoke on its way towards Choso. Boosting past his own slash and grabbing a hold of Choso, the demon whips his hybrid ass into the wall behind him. Throwing up his hands, afraid of the inevitable, Choso is struck in the chest by Sukuna's 4th black flash, absolutely destroying the wall behind him. Not done though, big bro Choso grabs his arm and has his blood harden around Sukuna's hand, trapping him. Socking Sukuna's cursed face with one of his trusty right hooks, Yuji sends him sliding away from his older broski. Gassed up, Choso knows that no matter how strong Sukuna is, Yuji's blows will weaken him and cause him to lose control of his body. Close by and picking up his boy, Miguel told him that it was time to dip, but LaRue refused as he believed there was still more he could do here. Bursting through the entrance of a store, Sukuna delivers a gut punch to Yuji, blowing out the right side of his torso. Grabbing the brat by his collar, Yuji somehow quickly switches things up and pulls Sukuna in close before leaning back and aiming up a point-blank piercing blood on the demon's head. Laying in a heap of rubble, Choso was aware Yuji is currently unable to use conversions effectively, making his shots inaccurate. Screaming out the words needed for piercing blood, Yuji headshots the left side of Sukuna's face, who in turn throws up his hand and slashes Yuji's shoulder, pushing him back. Immediately getting to his damn feet, Yuji sends curse energy into his fist, preparing for his next strike. With a few feet gap between them, Sukuna, in a similar moment to Mahito, sensing the inevitable, felt the same premonition of an incoming black flash. Randomly then having his eyes change to hearts, what truly caught him off guard and forced Sukuna to look in the other direction was LaRue using his curse technique. Screaming out that it isn't just bodies he can grab with Heart Clutch, LaRue elaborates on how once they've got a hold of someone, they can even grab their heart. Stunned, and with his attention completely diverted, our GOAT, the MC, showed their freak up. Within the next 0.0001 fractions of a second, Yuji unleashed a huge black flash that connected with Sukuna's previous wound, cracking the entire structure behind him and sending black sparks flashing off in every direction. The one who unleashed his true potential with a single blow beneath the scattering sparks of a black flash was him, an awakened Yuji Itadori. So skipping back to an earlier moment in the series, and initially after running away from Yuji and Maki, Orome atop a building asked who Yuji Itadori actually is. Sukuna explains that as far as he knows, he's Kenny's creation. As for his lineage, he doesn't exactly know. Orome points out how they felt a similar vibe coming off Yuji. She laughed in his face, but it was a vibe that was obviously not from the time Sukuna spent inside of him. Guessing that it's likely Kenjaku's thing, Meguna knows he wouldn't create a kid for no reason. It's likely that during his time in Kaori's body, Kenny slept with Sukuna's reincarnation, Jin Itadori, someone who he guesses has an identical soul to his own. Which is freaking insane just to think about that for a second. Continuing with the series changing bombs here, Sukuna elaborates on how when he was in the womb, he consumed his twin brother because he was starving to death. In turn, it caused his twin soul to wander until it reached Kenjaku as Jin Itadori, with whom Kenny created Yuji. Technically, as we already know, Yuji is a player of the culling game because of the fingers sealed within him. Sukuna assumed that it was possibly a necessary step to ensure his strength as a host. Understanding what he's actually saying now, Orome thinks that if this is true, then that means Yuji Itadori has latent potential equivalent to Ryomen Sukuna. Flashing back to Shinjuku as the two stand opposite each other, preparing to fight, Sukuna makes the first move. Throwing his hand forth, he cuts Yuji's face. However, our boy does not stop. Instead, he parries Sukuna's hand and lands his second black flash. Again, he snaps his other hand forth and lands a third consecutive black flash at Sukuna. Falling backwards through the inside of the building now, Yuji then grabs a pillar and creates these random scissor markings on it. Currently in the series, Big Yuji has two different curse techniques. Blood manipulation, which was engraved within him after absorbing the remaining cursed womb death paintings, and a new one, just gained after achieving the awakened state brought on by the sparks from the black flash. Slicing the pillar from the wall, Yuji gains the shrine that had been engraved into his core as the reincarnated body of Ryomen Sukuna. Throwing the pillar at Sukuna, the demon slices it into smaller squares and goes to kick at Yuji. Snatching his foot out of the sky from in front of him, Yuji tries to activate cleave on his leg, but only cuts the surface. Seeing Yuji then proceeding to throw a punch, Sukuna sends 3 point-blank slices that throw our boy's head to the side. Instantly whipping his head back though, and throwing his fist into Sukuna's ribs, Yuji lands his 4th consecutive black flash. Having gained some distance now, Sukuna, in all of his wise years, knows that the men from era to era may change slightly. But what the actual frick even is this? Luckily for him at this moment, Yuji has only just learned the technique, so its output is extremely weak. Still, it's not even that worries him. It's Yuji's extremely keen sense in battle. Flashing back to the moment Gojo told Ino that if he wanted to use the curse tool Nanami left behind, he didn't need to ask them. Ino knows it, he just understands that they've all known Nanami for longer than him and are his oldest friends. However, they reassured him that Nanami trusted Ino more than anyone else. Back to the present, Ino activates Auspicious Beast Summon number 4, summoning a massive dragon that slams the king into the wall behind him. Watching his beast get cut up all around him though, Ino tries to attack Sukuna with a blunt sword. However, Sukuna just stomps on it, trapping Ino in place. Noticing something, Ino then fakes out Sukuna, allowing Yuji to appear behind him and land his 5th consecutive Black Flash. Reeling from the hits as he slides back, Sukuna is just like, what the fuck? How the hell is this even possible? How can he use Black Flash this many times? Laying on the ground, probably thankful for his life, Ino apologized to Nanami for not being of any help at all. Looking up and seeing Yuji jumping down to his level, Sukuna tries to punch him, but the boy grabs his arm and punches him back into the wall, destroying it. Attacking him with a flurry of slashes, Sukuna is baffled to see that Yuji isn't even being affected by techniques that use a mix of impact hits and slashing attacks. Closing in on him through the sea of slashes, Yuji pummels Sukuna with his 6th use of a Black Flash. Instantly reaching back, Sukuna manages to grab and activate a point-blank cleave on Yuji's head. Still not defeated, and with the left half of his freaking face seemingly blinded from the slashes, Yuji throws forth his 7th Black Flash, connecting with Sukuna's surprised head and knocking him back. Snapping back and screaming that he's just a brat, Sukuna is taken by surprise once again as Nanami's blunt sword connects with his dumbass head. Turns out, Ino, from like a nearby window, in a last-ditch effort to make an impact in the battle, threw the sword and dazed Sukuna at the perfect time, allowing our boy Yuji to prepare for his next blow. Telling Yuji to lay his ass out, our boy, just like Gojo, then hits him with a back shot so damn hard that it turns into his freaking 8th consecutive Black Flash. At this exact moment, Yuji Itadori was like a king, but superior. Which honestly means that if we're going off the narration, then obviously Yuji is now superior to Sukuna. And oh my lord, are we about to see the final few chapters of this fight and maybe even the series? What do you all think? I'd love to know down in the comment section below, obviously. Surely Kenny's merger is still going to play some sort of part in the story, or at least that I think it will. It's almost like the infinite Tsukuyomi of final moments for the series, but I doubt it'll come into play if Sukuna does end up dying here. After all, like, who will kill the remaining sorcerers? I completely doubt there'll be a mutiny from inside Jujutsu Tech. Of course, if you have enjoyed this video and want me to release everything from the Shinjuku Showdown as a fat, like, 3-hour something video, then push this video to 3,000 likes and I'll complete that for you over the next JJK break week. Also, subscribe if you are new around here. I make a bunch of similar videos to this, but for a variety of different series, and I'm always scouring my comments for new recommendations. If you are Himothy as well and want to support me even more, feel free to check out the Patreon, which I'll leave linked down below, where you get early access to all of my videos before I release them here over on YouTube. Either way, I truly hope you did all enjoy the video, but for now, this has been your professional degenerate Diavolo, and I'll see you all in a bit. Bye.